His name is Robert Paulson. His name is Robert Paulson. His name is Robert Paulson. His name is Meatloaf.
What's up?
What's up? Hey everybody! Welcome back to the Chorizo Bros show, you guys. We have a first time thing that we're doing today. There's 4 of us.
Let's
It's
go.
the very first time that we've done that. We've always had either 2 or 3 or whatever. The first time we have the original guys and then plus a guest. So Brandon's back with us today. Last time we did a Silence of the Lambs while Art was away on some work.
Yeah.
So we all got to get acquainted and get ready. So we're going to talk about Fight Club today, you guys. And I think it's been one of the most exciting books / movies that we've covered or we're about to cover. So we're going to do it like we normally do it. I'm going to kind of let these guys take over, and each one of them is going to go over a spoiler-free-ish review of either the book or the movie or both, whatever you've done.
Okay.
So we'll go ahead and start with Art. Tell us about this movie, man.
I saw the movie. I didn't read the book or listen to the book. I love the movie. It has like some badass fight scenes, the bleeding and the action of it. I love action. It has a little bit of drama too and mysterious. Like, you don't know who's this other character. But other than that, I loved it. I will recommend it to people.
Sweet.
Like, I was like, man, Fight Club's the movie to watch. I got excited when you thought there was a second part, and I was like, oh, is there a second part? Like,
there's kind of a second part. We'll get into that.
Okay.
Did you watch this when you were when it came out?
Yes, when I was
so
younger.
So you must have
yes.
been like a teenager when it came out.
Yes, and I didn't get to see all to me it was just a cool action fight movie, and now getting to see it, it's more of a.
Did you kind of understand it like when you were younger? Like
No, I didn't get the whole mental and the.
It is complicated.
Yes,
okay.
Very complicated, I guess.
Anything else? And then when you guys can take over?
That's it.
Yeah, I'll jump in. Yeah, I watched the movie, of course, and read the book, and I actually don't really care for the book that much, to be honest. I think the movie is much better. I think it's a good read. Like, if you want to watch it, or if you want to read it, yeah, I think it's a good read. It's really easy, to follow. I think the movie is a little bit better in that there's more detail that you can enjoy. In the book, it's not super detailed. It's more of just these characters, the stuff they go through. There's a little bit of detail here and there, but in the movie, it really kind of fills in the gaps with a lot of how these characters are, the scenery, the way that the edits are.
The edits
movie is
the
just,
best part of this movie is the editing.
Yeah, it's just phenomenal. I think in the book, it's not super well organized, and I think the movie organizes the story really, really well without leaving out a lot of the details of the book.
Well, I think the movie does a really good part of playing to the insanity with the editing from him seeing these little
flashes.
snippets in tiny little snippets. You would have to pause it to see that Tyler's there.
That's true, yeah.
And he's there and he's talking about insomnia, and it's hard to envision that in your mind. Most of the time it's really great when you're reading a book because you paint a better picture than any movie really can.
Yes.
But this movie actually does a fantastic job, I think. I read a little bit of the beginning, first 4 or 5 chapters of the book, and just the first few chapters from him going into the different council groups, the groups, and then the first scene being on the roof with the gun in his mouth. It'll get to that gay part, I'm sure, to you. But even there, from the book to the movie, it's completely different. Movie, they don't even focus really on those details.
Yes.
It's more about going straight into, and they hide pretty well his insanity.
Very well.
For a while.
They do.
They hide the fact, it is a very good shocker at the end.
One of the best twists in movies.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of the best twists. Not the best, but one of the best.
It was kind of not too great that I watched the movie first and then read the book, because I'm curious how I would have felt reading the book and then how early I would have figured out the twist. Because in the movie, it was kind of like a shock.
Yeah.
And you kind of got an idea, wait, what's going on here? But after watching the movie and then reading the book, you already know. So, you're reading the book and you're you have that frame of reference that it's the same person. You know? So reading it, you're
oh, okay, yeah.
You know,
yeah, the
surprise wasn't as
the
enjoyable.
surprise isn't there, so therefore the story is not as good.
Yeah,
Definitely, you would have to do.
But I do think
one before the other. Like,
yeah,
read the book and then watch the movie. Or,
well, either way you read it, it's gonna you know what the twist is.
Yeah, but you ruin the other medium for yourself because like the movie is already the plot is kind of ruined.
Yeah,
and if you watch the movie before you read the book, well,
yeah, that's true.
Right.
It's like,
but there's also really cool stuff in the storyline that doesn't solely focus on just the Bane twist. There's other cool stuff that goes on that still makes the story, I think, enjoyable for me at least.
the best casting was Meatloaf, honestly.
Dude, straight up, straight the
yeah,
fuck up.
Like,
he's like
Meatloaf as Bob. With
you
the
go
bitch
Meatloaf.
Tits. Yeah,
you guys know who Meatloaf is, right?
No.
I'll
be honest with
I
you.
would
fill in the
do
gaps.
anything for love, but I won't do that.
that.
That guy that does that
Gotcha.
song, that's the guy with the
Yeah.
bitch tits.
Gotcha. Wow.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, he came out of like Rocky Horror Picture Show. Like he's old like rock and roll dude. It's coming
That's
out.
crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
from the
that's him,
70s,
Meatloaf.
80s.
So that was him?
The Meatloaf is the guy.
Yeah,
that
with
is
the guy with
the
the
big
big
guy, the one that
shit
he
chest.
cries on his
Yeah.
chest.
Robert Paulson.
Yeah, Robert Paulson.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bobby.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah.
We should have said his
No,
name
honestly, he
is
was
Meatloaf.
His name. We should have done that. We'll edit that.
Yeah.
His name is
Meatloaf.
Meatloaf.
What? Oh shit.
So,
Okay, but yeah, what about you?
this one's rough. So I read multiple of Chuck Palahniuk's books before Fight Club, and I'd seen the movie when it came out in 1999. I think I must have been around 13 years old. I don't know. I'm not do the math, but I was around 13. We rented it from Blockbuster. My
That's
dad
awesome.
hated it, dude. I remember him walking away from it being like, "What the fuck was this movie?" And I was just kind of like, teenage. You think, the violence is fun,
Yes,
the
that
fighting
is-
is fun, the
bleeding,
guns,
the blood.
and yeah, the blood, the
Remember when
all
the
that stuff was
mobster
really
fucks
cool.
him up? Oh, dude.
Yeah. So I was connected to the movie first. So and then but I also understand what Chuck Palahniuk's writing style is. It is kind of disjointed. It does kind of jump around. Did he sort of remind you in a way of Philip K. Dick? In terms of just kind of saying what he's thinking as opposed to really explaining it?
Philip K. Dick, that was...
The Blade Runner, the Do Androids Dream.
Oh, yeah, actually.
Did it get that vibe? Because that's
Yeah,
kind
I
of
did
like
get
what
that
the kind of comparison that I've made before is between them two.
Yeah, there's no, like... And I think the movie does well with even kind of evoking that with the edits. Because, yeah, you're right. In the book, it's kind of just like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, flashing forward, flashing back, flashing forward, flashing back.
Yeah.
That stuff is a little bit hard to manage when you're reading it, but when you know what his style is, it's always like you kind of get the idea when he strings this book together that what he'd just done is random research, or he read a fact like this wasn't back then, but like when you see facts on a meme and you go, I'm gonna remember that, and then he's just trying to find a way to fit that in the story because he's talking about how to make dynamite and how to do this and how to do that.
I could see that. Yeah.
And I feel like it's almost he's just trying to have an excuse to like say this thing that he knows. Well, if you drill holes in a pistol, it can turn into a silencer, and it's like, his weirdo gung ho guy friend told him that. Is kind of how it feels.
Off the cuff, kind of, right?
Yeah, or he thought something
Yeah.
clever. The single serving friend, and then Tyler calls him out. That feels like Chuck did that. He thought, single serving butter, single serving cream, single serving friend. I only talk to these people while I'm on the flight. And he was like, I'm so fucking smart for thinking of that. And then he wrote it in, and then he's like making fun of himself. This whole book is a troll. This whole book is...
It is, yeah.
It's a troll. It's subverting everything that you thought and making fun of it, and you're not supposed to be aware that it's making fun of it. So, I think the movie is a hair better, but they're very close for me.
Wow. Okay.
The first one I read, if anybody knows Chuck Palahniuk, the first book by him that I read was called Choke, and it's about a sex addict who is trying to work through that, and he meets all these like weird characters. It's almost like a South Park episode. He's not afraid to go weird with it, and that's kind of like what this is.
He likes getting choked.
He likes getting choked. The concept of choke is he like goes to fancy restaurants and pretends to choke on something.
Okay.
And then, like, I guess people feel like they write him, like, notes, letters, like, hey, how are you? Like somebody, it's like kind of the same thing again, where it's like
he's
he
secretly
feels
wearing
lonely.
like a Superman suit underneath.
No. Yeah, it's all of his books are really weird. But yeah, no, this book is great. That's why I brought the Anarchist Cookbook here. It shows you how to make silencers and stuff.
Anarchist.
So I thought that was
Awesome.
I thought that was appropriate for starting something like Project Mayhem. But yeah, basically, what was your favorite takeaway of the story? Now we have the elephant in the room. We'll get to that, I feel like, a little bit later. But I think the main thing, of course, is the gay elephant, the pink elephant.
The pink elephant.
We'll get to that. But I think I wanted to get y'all's feel for what your favorite takeaway of the movie is.
Well, for me, I am a huge believer in kind of like distancing myself from like belongings and things, and so I resonated a lot with that, and I felt like that was a huge part of the film, was just separating yourself from
society itself.
Yeah, like the normalcy of like, you know, him like being obsessed with IKEA and making all this stuff about his belongings, and then his, you know, alternate ego is like, dude, like you're not your condo, you're not your job, you're not this. So I resonate a lot with that.
His alternative is a fucking bar soap salesman, like
yeah. And so I felt like that was, for me, what I took away from the film. And there's lots of different.
Yeah, there's a lot of things.
So for me, that's just kind of what I gravitated to, and like the understanding, the message. And I was like, man, yeah, fuck yeah.
Well, and he's the bad guy.
And it's crazy because like I think the way that I think, I'm like, no, he's right.
Well, it's trolling you. It's trying to get you to kind of agree with it, but to be like. Because it's funny, he's talking about anti-consumerism. His shirt has like 4 different logos on it, so I don't know. I don't know how fucking true that is. I don't believe in corporations and brands. But,
yeah, I mean, yeah.
Toyota.
But hey, Toyota.
Toyota, they're our sponsor today.
No, but you know what I'm saying. Like, it's unavoidable. Modern day society, it's kind of.
It is
it's capitalism, yeah. It's just brands are gonna be a part of your life. What can you do about it? What was your favorite takeaway?
I would say the surprise. I didn't, read the book.
The twist.
Yeah, the twist. Well, I'm talking about like in the book that he's in an insane asylum. That's not how the ending of the movie goes.
No,
the endings are very different.
Very different.
Yeah,
and it's very funny because like that time. 1999. This is a very like, if you think historically, like cusp of some very crazy stuff that's happened in America. Like, you have bombings of the FBI building,
Columbine.
You have Columbine. I'm talking about like the bombing of the FBI building in response to Waco. This was like. I think a year or 2 years before the movie came out.
Columbine happened in 1999.
No, not Columbine.
No, I'm aware that this is a different thing.
Yes. But there was just a lot of like terrorists, growing of these incel groups with militia. And bold, crazy ideas. And, the twist at the end of the book is that it didn't blow up. It didn't succeed. But their choices in the movie to make it that it did happen and to show it, to, spectacularly show buildings blow up, credit unions, blow up, trying to...
Debt-free, imagine?
They definitely...
I'm right there with you, bro.
Do you want to... Can we burn our fingertips with some lye today? I don't want to get caught with this.
And definitely that part, like, especially because of the timing, they knew what... Because how long ago was the book written before the...
I don't, off the top of my head, I don't know.
It says here when it was published.
But definitely, like, they chose...
Usually these things are pretty
ending,
quick.
Yeah, they definitely chose that ending to resonate with what was going on in society. And that idea, like, of how he was mentally in the beginning of the movie.
That's mine.
Talking about, like, going through these. He's so like disconnected with society. Everything's like a copy of a copy, like he says.
1996.
96. Okay, so it's 3 years before.
Yeah.
But they chose because between I think 97 and 99, there was even more crazy shit that had happened since 96. So you got to think that they chose that ending to really resonate. They're like, what's going to shock people? What's going to, and the beginning with his mental stability and going to these cancer and tuberculosis and
these
all
support
this.
groups.
Yeah, these support groups. It's like, it still resonates now. It's like these people that are definitely could be the incel, could be like leading to this militia group. They're like, deep down, look at him. He was like really just looking for like some sort of belonging, some sort of soul, like some sort of like peace. Really, what he was looking for, and his crazy mind was like fighting between him and his alternate like self. What was like acceptable, what was not acceptable, what was and in his mind, Bob with his big bitch tits was like the most sweet, consoling. Babies don't sleep better than this. And then what's her name? The one that's played by Helena Carter.
Marla.
She's like, she comes in. She's a fake just like him, but he's not upset. He's upset that she ruins his like
peaceness.
His peace.
Well, what he says is her lie reflected my lie. So he couldn't when he was faking it with the other people, it didn't matter. But the second he was aware that there was a faker present, he couldn't stop thinking about how he was faking.
Right.
And then it bothered him.
What about you, Rob?
To me, the younger art was the action part, right? Now knowing just the brain itself, like how he curated two people in one body, and one took over the other, is because he wanted that alter ego. He couldn't get that. Him just being the 9-to-5 guy, living normal life, and that to me is just like. And there's people out there that suffer through that stuff, bro. Like, it's nuts to me. Like, your brain can fuck with you like that, where you're two different people. And that's just shocked me. I was like, man, he created a whole army with another person that he doesn't even know they exist, and it's himself. Like, it's...
So it's like the mental health stuff was...
Yeah, to me, that what got me more, like, I was like... In the beginning, like, when I first watched that course, to me, like... Fuck yeah, kicked his ass, fighting, and I never took it as like more like, okay, this guy is suffering with some mental issues that he created a whole person. Like when remember towards the end, you see him hit himself, and like imagine seeing somebody kicking his own. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with them? You know what I mean?
He's like liar, kicking my
own ass.
And when they show that scene when it's like after he has the revelation that Tyler is him, and he's like, it shows the guys coming out of the bar, and he's like beating himself up. That actually seems kind of believable in terms of that some guys coming out of a bar would be like, hey, look at this fucking idiot. And then they go, hey, you want someone to kick your ass? I'll do it. And then he gets more people to, that's kind of how it, like...
I like that, because I was thinking, like, why would somebody...
so stupid.
That's so stupid, but that makes sense.
Yeah, somebody would be like, what the fuck, man?
Let me kick your ass.
You need someone to help.
He knows that most of his fights he lost, too, when he fought.
Yeah.
But
it goes back and forth, it goes back and forth.
When he was like his dorky self, I guess, or 9-to-5 guy, he always got beat. But when he was
is that true? I think it's pretty.
He gets beat most of the time. Like when he's.
I would say so. Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah,
it doesn't seem like Edward Norton's character, like.
No, the one dude that like smacks his face in the concrete, he loses.
He loses
to Bob.
He loses to Bob.
To Meatloaf.
And then even the first fight they have, it looks like Tyler Durden overpowers him pretty much the whole time.
Like, and I think maybe the only time when he fucks up that guy with the white hair.
Yeah, he definitely fucks up.
Jared Leto.
Oh, yeah.
But that's
honestly, fuck Jared Leto.
But that's because like he was always Tyler.
I hate the guy.
He always had that viciousness in him. He had and it was Tyler not.
It was not him.
Not him completely taking over, but the power that he could always wield through Tyler to beat.
That's true.
Because Tyler beat people's asses.
That's
but
correct.
It was Edward Norton's character.
That's true, but also Tyler does stuff like get his ass beat.
He does.
Like when Lou, remember Lou?
Oh yeah,
right.
That is
because it's him. It's him the whole time.
Yeah,
right?
it is.
So when he's going to Fight Club and both when we see him as either Brad Pitt or Ed Norton, they're fighting. The guys that are there in the scene, they just see Edward Norton.
Yeah.
So he
Scrawny
wins. He just wins as much as he loses.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. And that makes you think that's an easier person for you to follow because he's not like he's one of us. He loses too.
Yeah, he doesn't win all the time.
And that's
he
why
doesn't win all the time. That's why. That's one of the reasons they gravitate towards it.
Yeah. Even like toward the end when like he's discovering that has Tyler Durden, he's like, almost telling on himself, and these guys are like, man, I applaud you, sir, for doing what you're doing. Like he's doing that. He's losing.
And even the cops. He has even the cops with them.
Dude, it's crazy.
Cut his balls off, his dick out.
So my probably biggest takeaway, aside from what we're going to talk about later, is it's an examination of fragile or toxic or whatever masculinity. That's kind of like the obvious thing, but it's pretty on the nose because what you said of like, I kind of get the anti-consumerism thing. I get the, when he says we're a generation of men raised by women, that there's something about the idea of us watching this and being like, yeah, why are guys pussies now? Like, it's still a thing. This came out in 1999 and people are still talking about that now, feeling like there's not, like, men now aren't masculine enough. And it's a bad thing. I mean, it comes out that it's a bad thing to think that, but why do people have that feeling in the first place then?
Yeah, I think
well, obviously because like gender roles, like look at the whole thing of the movie. It's like breaking down the financial. It's not about like dominating women. It's not about It's a fight club, but no one hits a woman in the entire movie. It's not about that. It's about like being the breadwinner, being the peak of society, being
taking down the corporation,
being the corporation. The corporation is what's to them emasculating them, making them not the strong man that owns the home, that has the money, that has the. Then what is?
Why would he go
there's examples of other things happening there too.
Yeah, but
Marla, what does she say when when she sees the thing? She goes, "What happened to your hand?" And he's like, "Whatever." He like tries to blow it off, and she's like, "Who did that to you? Was it a guy or a girl?" And he goes, "What do you care if it's a guy or a girl?" That's a really odd line, right?
Okay.
So the women are emasculating the men. It's one scene, it's one line, but like one of his struggles in this movie is her.
I think it's the corporation thing, like he was saying, like
it's both. It's all of it.
I see a lot of what you're saying though. Like there's this notion that us as men have to behave a certain way, and so I think because he has this alternate ego, Tyler Durden is this like supreme masculine figure that he idolizes, and ultimately he finds it in himself to let that part of his self go, and so I do think that it's unfortunate that we live in this world where we're built to be this, you can't cry, you can't be this way, you can't but he finds comfort in crying in front of Bill or Bob, and so that I totally get what you're saying, so.
Well, also yes, like she shook his whole thing of like, so in the group with Bob, he could not cry anymore after she came into there. I don't know if it has to do with again going back to him seeing her as another fake, and he couldn't like fake it himself, but also it was just nothing but a group of men that he was in that group, and that was the one that he was like most connected to Bob, crying in his big bitch tits, and she comes along
and has big tits,
and he can't show this vulnerability anymore. He can't show that he's crying in this group anymore. He's like. He's on the defensive. You attack.
Yes. He feels threatened.
Yeah, you entered my safe space. My space.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah,
like it's very much about that. It's very much.
Yeah, it's very much about that. in the terms of like masculinity.
Yeah.
I don't think of like completely of like with like okay. With
It's
like,
just one of the things.
Yeah, it's one of the things.
It's one of the things.
It's one of the things.
It's not the
this movie
thing.
has a lot, dude.
There's a lot of layers.
Action. There's thrilling. There's
well, I mean, in
guns,
terms
there's
of like
violence,
themes and layers, there's a lot.
There's so much.
There's the toxic masculinity. There's the
Dude.
anti-consumerism. It's the coming to terms with your homosexuality.
Yeah, get to that.
You guys want to go?
But real quick, I just didn't get. How did he get rid of him when he shot himself? When he killed himself?
The way that
was half of his brain.
If I'm not mistaken, the concept behind what he's doing when he shot himself, because in the book he's got a wound on his cheek that won't heal.
Yeah.
So he's got this like almost extension of his lip that won't heal, and then he shoots the other side of it. So he's got the Joker smile. So that's very intentional of the design of like what it's supposed to look like. The design of it is he's like he's fucking crazy.
Yeah, but how did he get rid of?
Right. So when he shoots himself, the concept is it's like when you think you're dreaming. You pinch. They say pinch yourself to see if you're dreaming. Yeah. This is like an extreme version of that. Is the concept? It was like he was trying to either wake himself up, if not, end it. So that if he can wake up and realize what's going on, Tyler is gone because he's not in that weird. I'm not awake. I'm not asleep state.
Yeah. Huh.
That's kind of like what the concept.
So he just got rid of it, realizing like, hey.
Well, it's ambiguous if he got rid of him or not because the movie ends as the bomb goes off, but you don't know what happens after that.
That's true. That's when you said the second part. I was like, oh shit, there's a second part.
Well, he apparently wrote some graphic novels that take place after the first story, and I think it follows the book more so than the movie.
Oh,
I don't know. I didn't read it, so I can't tell you. But I know he did work on. I think there's like a Fight Club 2 and 3.
Oh wow!
But they're like comics,
the book.
and I think they're shitty. I think they're bad. I think they're like. I think
I've
they were.
never heard of them.
No.
I've never heard of them, so I'm sure they're bad.
No, I never read them, but the reviews are that they're bad.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. He experiments. Chuck Palahniuk experiments a lot in his writing. So like
sexuality.
Yeah, maybe. So all right, gay elephant in the room, pink elephant in the room. Let's just talk about it. So one of the big themes of this, and it is, you can argue if it's super hidden or not. When I found out, I couldn't stop seeing it, but I feel like you can watch this movie 10 times and never think about this. That Chuck Palahniuk, the author of the book, is openly homosexual in a relationship. I think he's been like married to this guy for a while now. And that one of the concepts in here is anti-consumerism. It is toxic masculinity or fragile masculinity or whatever.
Right.
But it's also in another different weird way, and almost again you can't unsee it once you know. It's him coming to terms with his homosexual feelings. And Tyler serves almost two purposes there. It's the guy he would be attracted to. Like Tyler is like who he thinks is sexy, who he thinks the ideal man is, right? That's kind of on the nose, right? The other thing is that it's who he thinks, that other part of him is like who he thinks straight guys like. So it's almost like weirdly both things. We like Tyler. We think Tyler's badass, right? As guys.
Oh yeah.
But you can see a gay guy being attracted to him, not just us thinking he's badass because he's confident. He knows a lot of shit. He's capable. All that's he's deets.
He's deets, but with bombs.
Yeah. He's Gus. In a way.
Yeah.
Just kind of overly confident. Knows what the fuck he's talking about.
It always goes back to Lonesome Dove. We need to have like a fucking montage
supercut
of all of the times we mentioned just a little bit.
A supercut.
Because Lonesome Dove is a badass book, bro.
Every podcast I'm gonna bring it up.
I love Lonesome Dove. I love that book.
So it kind of serves two purposes, and throughout the book, I was kind of like highlighting. I put the little pink markers there, so I thought that was kind of gay.
For each gay reference?
Yeah.
No, I didn't. Dude, there would be every page would be highlighted.
But see, that I was reading. I was trying to look for it.
Let me just show. Okay, but you're also not reading it. Reading it is slower.
He made this character that people would love, like women and men, and like straight men will be like, "Oh, this dude's fucking cool."
Yeah, you would be Tyler Durden's friend.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be his friend, but I'm not gonna be like, damn, dude, that guy's like amazing or.
No, because you're normal.
You're a straight dude.
You're a normal guy.
To this dude because he's straight.
So he made this character thinking as like, oh, I'm attracted to this kind of man.
He didn't do it.
I thought it was more like
the narrator of the story doesn't have a name. The narrator of the story isn't trying to do that. It's happening under the covers. It's happening happening in the back rooms of his mind. It's like this he's struggling through it. He doesn't know how to feel about his attraction towards somebody.
But he fucks the shit out of that girl.
He imagines he's downstairs doing sit-ups. When that's happening, he's downstairs.
And
he's not thinking about it.
So he's thinking about him going, like, working, supposedly.
He's downstairs doing sit-ups when he's upstairs. His mind's somewhere else.
Yeah.
What in his mind, he's like, a straight guy would plow her, and me, I'm gonna be like
working out
downstairs.
my abs.
It's like it makes sense in his head why he's sore the next day, because he was doing sit-ups instead of
fucking
sleeping that chick.
Yeah.
So, I mean, did you not get any gay stuff at all when you watched this, or you didn't think oh, that could be like there could be some.
Well, I mean, I was trying
underlying
to
story.
Look for
Were you
it.
really trying to?
Yeah, for
I was trying to look for the.
I mean,
yeah,
I get what you're saying, and it makes
like the penis stuff. They show a lot of penises.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
but it's not like.
What the fuck? Yeah.
okay, but that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they weren't doing some like lady with her like opening herself
Yeah.
up. It was a dick, dude.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I saw a lot of penises there, but like more like I thought to me he was just mental. Like
Yeah, he is mental.
he's
Like
creating-
there's it's a layer. It's just one of the layers.
okay,
You know how we watched Alien? There was that thing I told you about. That's not what the movie's about necessarily,
No.
but it's there, and you go, okay. Well, now that I'm looking for it, I kind of see it. Interesting. It's an
I'm gonna go watch
interesting
it again.
little thing.
I can see what you're saying. I totally can. But
You
when I
guys
watch
are
it,
not
I don't-
you guys are not the only ones that disagree with me on this.
I don't disagree with you.
I
don't disagree with you.
You said you couldn't see it.
I don't naturally see it while I'm
In
watching the film.
in the movie, not so much.
the book.
There's
is-
some lines.
In the book, yes.
There's some lines.
In the movie, it's not as much as in the book.
There's
I
so
think
much in the
there's more
movie.
in the
There's
movie.
so much in the movie.
I feel like there's more in the
Well,
movie.
let me
than the book.
let me ask you this.
I
Let me
don't
ask you
know,
this.
In the first
Let's
book
say-
I was reading, he's like tonguing the gun in his mouth, specifically saying how he's on the knees in front
Yeah.
of like Tyler and
that
putting
sounds pretty
putting
good.
it in his putting it to the cheek, tonguing it to the side, and feeling
Yeah.
how
Yeah,
it is in
that-
his mouth. Very much.
Jeremy's like, that's not gay.
Yeah. Now in the movie though, he's like, after Tyler is talking to me, he's like, and he finally pulls out of my mouth, I forget about what he's saying, and all I can think is how dirty the gun is. That is completely different from in the book.
That
The book,
tucking
he's
in,
like,
moving
I'm
to the
tucking it,
side.
I'm moving it to the side.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
geez,
yeah.
It's real gay, man.
yeah.
Okay, so let me-
that
so-
sounds
Yeah,
pretty
sure,
good.
but
yeah,
I feel like in the
That's
book, I feel like in the movie there's like instances where they show Tyler with his fucking shirt off, and like in the book, there's not descriptive language about how Tyler looks or
Right.
like
How he looks like
any
Brad
kind
Pitt.
of yeah, and
Yeah.
in the movie there's definite like distinction between these two characters. In the book, I feel like you get that a little bit, like they're very different, but they're still very similar in that they're just two guys that joined this fucking fight club. And in the movie, I just really feel that there is that clear distinction. This is a guy who really
the
wants
complete
to be.
opposite of Brad Pitt is Ed Norton.
Yeah.
Like,
I actually didn't like the cast of Ed Norton. I didn't really, but I don't really like it.
I think it's one of his better movies.
I think it's
I
one
like
of our
Ed
more
Norton.
well-known ones. But so
Wait,
before I get
American History X, I'm sure you'll love
that was
it.
my favorite one of his.
Yeah.
that was my
That
favorite.
was good.
We got to do that one.
Yeah.
That-
So
that's-
we should have Tyler Durden.
that
We should have
movie
Brad
is-
Pitt fight the American History X.
Oh,
Ed
yeah,
Norton.
that'd be a good
Dude.
match.
They both have shaved heads.
Yeah, that'd be a good match. That would be a
You
good
mean
match.
Tyler Edward versus X Norton?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're both Edward Norton.
Yes.
That's
Um,
true,
all right,
That's
so-
true.
All right, I gotta zoom through these because we can keep talking about this all day. Before I get there, the scene in the gayest part of the movie
Okay.
is, well, there's a lot, but one of the ones where I go, there's no way that you can't look at that and be like, that's a little gay, man.
Is it titty hugging?
No, that's
Oh.
not. That's whatever. The guy had tits. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
It's when they're talking about they're dads, and Brad Pitt's in the bath, and he's like, you know, showering, or he's like washing his face or whatever, and Ed Norton's in the bathroom with him, and he's like, I don't know, putting Band-Aids on his knuckles, or he's doing something, but they're talking in the guys. How long have we known each other?
Yeah.
If we're not at the gym changing or something, I'm not gonna be in the fucking bathroom while you're taking a bath.
That's
dude.
true.
That's
Okay, yeah, that one.
You go, why would two grown ass men be doing that?
Yeah.
That's so intimate. That's incredibly intimate. You guys don't feel, because I remember even watching that when I was, you know, a teenager, going, that's kind of weird. Not that, I mean, you know, it was weird. He's not like outside the door or like doing something else.
Right.
And you can hear him. He's down the hall.
Yeah, but in the book, that's not in there.
There's a lot of gay stuff in this book, bro.
Right, but
I mean, the book is.
The book's real gay. They're both really gay, guys.
Well, I see that. I mean, yeah, I saw that.
Or when he goes, when he gets jealous of the Jared Leto.
Yeah, that's true.
And you go, why do you care, dude? I just wanted to destroy something beautiful. Did you?
He wanted to hurt what in his mind he thought that Tyler might like, as in a straight man.
Yes.
As a straight masculine man that attracts straight men.
Yeah.
That he attracts. That is what he likes. Is this beautiful, Jared Leto.
This like this sculptured face.
In the book, I don't remember that character being like prevalent too much.
Yeah, he's in there.
He's in there, but he's not like in the movie. I think they touch on that a lot more.
Well, because they're showing you how bad he fucked his face up.
Yeah, I think it's a big
right.
Scene.
But
he's completely changed after. Once he heals, his face is like completely like not even the same anymore.
What I was gonna do is put a Mona Lisa. I was gonna get a print of Mona Lisa and fuck it up. Even the Mona Lisa's falling apart. Let me find this thing. So in the beginning, there's an introduction here where Chuck Palahniuk is kind of talking about the legacy of Fight Club and you know, whatever. Because I think this was just a project he did, and then he just moved on to the next book, and then he moved on to the next book. This wasn't like this hit home for a lot of people like later, but it was kind of he's just kind of a thing he did. It wasn't like supposed to be his like magnum opus or anything.
Magnum opus.
Okay, so I'm just gonna read this.
What is that?
Your masterpiece. Magnum opus is your masterpiece.
Yeah.
Like Lord of the Rings. Like Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings is Tolkien's magnum opus. The one thing he's known for, right?
Yes.
So
Chorizo Bros is your
Chorizo Bros will be my magnum opus. When I get Stephen King here before he dies, and I have an interview.
Oh, that'd be sweet.
No, dude. If I get Chuck Palahniuk, dude. Oh man.
Well, dude, show the. I was looking through it, and you have his autograph in there.
Yeah, I'll get to that. Let me just read this real quick because I've been trying to read this for I don't know how long.
Oh, wait, I want to talk about something real.
Fuck it! Just throw it. Yeah. So okay, I'm gonna read this. On a plane back to Portland, an airline flight attendant leaned close and asked me to tell him the truth. This is Chuck Palahniuk writing, like as himself. This isn't part of the book. This is just like something he's talking about before the book. His theory was the book wasn't really about fighting at all. He insisted it was really about gay men watching one another fuck in public steam baths. So some random person who read Fight Club met him on a plane and was like, it's really about gays, huh? That happened.
Dang, that's crazy.
Yeah, and so there's all this other stuff.
He's like, we ended up fucking that guy.
And the next line is, and then I fucked him.
A la verga.
Yeah, it's not.
It's Mile High Club.
Mile High Fight Club.
Mile High Fight Club.
Yeah. So okay, so I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep going. All right. So this I'm just gonna keep. This is just in the book now. We have a sort of triangle thing going here. I want Tyler. Tyler wants Marla. Marla wants me.
Still all him.
I want Tyler.
I want Tyler.
He wants himself.
Well, right, but you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Still more with the mental issue.
It is. It's an exploration of. It's an exploration of him feeling like it's not okay.
Yeah.
I guess for that example, when I'm reading it, it's like, since I know that he's Tyler, it's like, when he says I want Tyler, I don't think of like in a sexual, like, attraction type thing. I think of it as like, he is Tyler because that's why he wants him, because that's who he is.
But he doesn't know that yet.
Right.
And the reader doesn't know that, so
Yeah.
immediately you're like, man, he's really hot.
That's why it was
the thing.
Yeah.
It's if you read that without the context of knowing the ending, you
And also, like, if you didn't watch the movie, you know what I mean? That would be like...
Yeah.
Then
I
you
get
would
it.
be...
But once you,
yeah.
that's why it kind of sucks that I read the book afterwards.
yeah.
It's
If you like overheard me writing like I want Jeremy,
yeah,
you'd be
For
weirded
sure.
out by
Oh, yeah.
that.
You're like, what do you want Jeremy to do?
Yeah.
No, I want Jeremy.
It's like I want Jeremy. Jeremy wants Ella.
dude, you're fucking freaking me the fuck out.
Yeah, no shit. That's the point. Okay. The next
I'm glad I
line.
read this book.
What you see
I'm
at
glad
Fight.
it's not three of us. I'm glad Brandon's here. There's four of us.
Right.
It's not like a triangle.
There's a
It's not a
triangle.
triangle. Thank God. Holy shit, man.
Shoot!
What you see at Fight Club is a generation of men raised by women. That's straight from the book. That's right here. After you've been to Fight Club, watching football on television is watching pornography when you could be having great sex.
That again, it really does lead into that gay part of doing. It's about having gay steam room
you know what's
sex.
Yeah, it's always steam room
It's
sex.
like,
Yeah.
why would you want to watch porn when you can go fuck in the steam room?
Yeah.
And, the 4-4 guy.
Dude,
I'm just kidding.
I do not want him to sue
Go,
us,
go,
dude.
go. Sorry, go.
I do
Dude,
not.
go,
I straight up do not want him to sue
Go.
us,
Keep
bro.
reading, bro. Keep reading.
Go 4-4.
The 444 guy.
Talking
You
about-
know that. You know the story, right?
Talking about
Okay.
steaming.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck,
Oh,
man?
foot
Okay,
Okay,
Yeah.
the only reason I highlighted this part is because it made me remember the part where we were talking about Silence of the Lambs, where he's like talking about he turned the guy into dip. Remember, he's like we tried to sweat him or whatever, and he gave us a recipe for dip. Well, there's something up here about that. If you go up in the middle of the night sometime and squeeze out the white goo and added California onion soup mix and eaten it as a dip with potato chips. It just reminded me of Hannibal Lecter eating people.
But also probably the gayest line in the
Yeah.
book.
Yeah. I am Joe's broken heart because Tyler's dumped me. Because my father dumped me. Oh, I could go on and on. Yeah, we know.
Yeah, but that goes, if his father dumped you, he wasn't...
So in the movie, she goes, whenever Tyler sleeps with Marla, and he's recalling it, and he goes, this she's nasty or whatever, she says, I haven't been fucked like that since grade school. Remember?
God.
That line is
Yeah.
gross. The line in the book is a little bit worse. That night, Marla says, I said I wanted to have your abortion.
I want
Dang.
to have your abortion.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That's pretty wild, dude. That's a good
God
one.
damn.
Damn, that book.
Dude, yeah.
I close my eyes and Tyler takes my hand. I feel... When I read it the way I'm reading it, it's like,
Yeah,
you can't read it gayer, dude.
It's so softly.
I feel Tyler's lips against the scars of his kiss.
Wow.
I can hear it now.
I said that if you talked about me behind my back, you'd never see me again. We're not two separate men.
Dang, that's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
How did I miss that, bro?
You listened to the
Oh, and this is not gay. This is just a question I have for Art. It's a good question, and so they're talking about one of the things because he knows like about refrigerant and whatever.
Dude, how did I know it was gonna be about AC? It's about the cylinder.
Yeah.
I fucking knew it. I thought about you too.
Yeah, I was like, I wonder if Art knows this, so I put the green one
For Art.
for Art.
I'm just
Yeah.
gonna give you a pink one.
Oh, I ran out of pink ones. Okay, so you take a spray canister of refrigerant, R12 if you can still get it, with the ozone hole and everything, or R134A, and you spray it into the lock cylinder until the works are frozen. Are these real refrigerants? Or are they
Yes,
just...
R12 is real refrigerant. The other one is.
Is this an older one you can't
Yeah,
get anymore?
older stuff. Back in
R12
the-
is the one
the
that's
trucks
just
and the
discontinued, right?
No. That's continued a long time ago.
Oh, what's
Probably like in the 80s. So that's when refrigerant was.
She's like, if you can still get it, where an old canister, 15-year-old.
I know a guy who bought a bunch of jugs before and he still has them just to have them.
Yeah.
To him, it's like a sort of like a fossil. You know what I mean? Like they don't make this no more.
Yeah.
And dude, like you can
Does
sell
that stuff go bad or?
No, it just stays in the jug until you don't crack it open. I mean, it just sits there.
I mean, eventually it will go bad.
Everything
goes bad.
Yeah.
Actually.
You know, gas goes bad, right?
Yeah.
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 Oh, yeah.
Well, it's because it's organic.
But
Yeah. So a
thanks
lot
for
of.
that question.
It made me think. I was like, I wonder if because
I thought of that
he
too.
throws so many things like if you mix paraffin with nitric acid and you do this and you do that, and he's like always making these recipes, and then
You're like, I can never make them at home when I'm trying.
yeah, they never work. No, and I was like, they can't be real.
Maybe another also gay thing, like the whole secret thing. You know what I mean?
Don't talk to her about me.
Yeah, and like also like don't even talk about the club. Like that was always the rules. And
Yeah, he's always hanging out with guys. It's almost like going to gay clubs.
But back in the day, I heard that like
You
a lot
just
of people
rename the book
like
Gay Club.
It's just gay club, yeah.
you'll get a right. You'll get like if you were gay, you get an address where you go to, and that's where y'all meet. But it was not a lot of people knew about it. How the way it is now, back in the day, was more quiet.
It's more quiet. You had to go to get to know people. You had to go to specific spots.
Exactly.
Just like Fight
So
Club.
now I can see that, like kind of like Fight Club. Like, I was like,
Yeah, again, it's a hidden theme. It's just like in there, and yeah, and then finding out that he was like an openly gay man, I was like, okay, that's like really in there. And I think he was just kind of exploring the idea a little bit. I don't think it's.
When did he come out?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know.
after this book.
Yeah.
After like reading the book and watching the movie, it does make you want to go fucking fight somebody.
Because if he was a gay author and the book came out, everyone's like, God,
Like,
this
that
book's
doesn't
so
make me
gay.
feel too. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, he had to have come
I'm
out
not gonna lie,
after.
like I've been in 6 fights, like, and getting a beating, like sometimes that's what you need.
But
like,
I think it'd be fun to get into a fucking just full out brawl with just fucking somebody you know.
no, that makes us more like a friends. We
Y'all should
connect
fight.
more.
Dude,
Let me
I'm
edit
down.
in. Art hitting Jeremy really hard.
Ah, my fucking ear.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well,
did
you
know that,
again
yeah.
with that idea of like incels, you get the idea that these are guys that like don't have wives.
No, they're lost, lonely.
You know that incel lonely man thing. The group that they go to where he meets
Emasculated by
Bill
society.
is called Remaining
Yeah.
Men Together.
But and also he said something about like our great grandfathers had like world wars and like
We don't have shit.
yeah we don't have nothing like when did we go crazy?
We didn't suffer. You know?
Yeah, and they knew how to suffer like.
Well,
They
it's not
started
that
when
they knew; it's that they have a choice.
yeah,
They
they
have
have
a
a
choice.
choice, yeah. Of
They
course,
knew
yeah.
how to suffer, man. Back in the day,
Like,
man, they really knew how to
Imagine
suffer.
18 years old and going over there.
Well, that's not necessary. I mean, that it depends on how you argue it. Because I don't disagree, but I will say, like, you know that there's a lot of guys came back from like Vietnam all sorts of fucked up, man.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. I know
Like
that
it's
too.
probably better that they didn't go, but you know, it's almost like we're
I guess more like
hearing
suffering,
we're
like
hearing
feeling
the
pain.
we're hearing the idealized version of like what that is. The reality isn't like that at all.
I do think there's benefit in suffering, though.
There's benefit in stress and growing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, he's trolling us. One of the biggest trolls that I saw in the book, at least, I can't speak for. I don't think there's really anything in the movie, but they do this a lot, and you're either going to pick up on the little kind of ways that he's trying to tell it to you, or you're not. And one of the things that they do, the troll, I was like, man, he's really just trolling us right now. Is he's explaining like, oh, we got to get the bunk beds, and we got to get the soldiers, and the soldiers have to live down, and they have to go through this trial where they wait outside.
Kind of like military.
Yeah, but it's kind of like showcasing like how badass they are. Like they're army guys. They're like soldiers.
Yeah.
They're Tyler Durden's
Yeah.
soldiers.
Well, how
Project
you
Mayhem.
you
Right.
can brainwash
But
someone.
then he starts detailing the garden, and he's like, oh, we have to grow chrysanthemums, and so basically it like goes from like talking about how like badass and tough these guys are fighting and they're all bruised up, and then it goes to, well, we have to take great care of the flowers because they're using it to make soap.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So it makes sense why it's there. They're growing flowers for a reason. But the way he sort of says it, it's like, are you paying attention? Like I'm fucking with you. Like this is not what you think it is. And there's a very big part when they talk about the different groups, but there's one group that gets a little bit more focus. what group do you think that is? Not the testicular cancer, one of the other ones.
Yeah, it's like the brain parasites.
The brain parasites. Yeah. Because Tyler Durden is inside of his brain.
Yeah, he's like, you can't have the whole brain.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a shout out to what's going on.
Right.
Yeah, and
gosh, there's so much.
There's so much.
Yeah,
there's so many
much.
like
you know
lines.
when he shot himself, I thought he shot half of the brain to take him out.
You know? Yeah, that's what I thought too. When you first see
I thought that's what it was, but then you could see the.
I kind of like that interpretation of it. I don't think that's what it is.
But it would have
no, I know. But it would have killed him. Yeah, I was what I'm saying. Like, how come he still survived? Like, I was like, what the fuck?
So in the ending in the book, for anybody that's seen the movie and they're watching this, the ending is Tyler Durden trolling the narrator and setting up the place to blow up, but he uses a bad recipe of dynamite or explosives. Mm-hmm. It doesn't work. So he shoots himself. The bomb doesn't go off. Marla comes in with some of the guys from one of her cancer groups.
All of them.
Was it all of them?
I
think it's like a few of them. But
I'm pretty sure it's all of them. Yeah.
So the support group guys, Marla shows up. And then the last chapter, he's in a mental institution or like a hospital, and he's fucked up from all the events of the book. And then, one of the guys, the orderlies or one of the guys helping out to make sure the narrator's okay, whispers to him, "We can't wait to get you back, sir." Or it's some variation of that. Mm-hmm. It leaves you on the back foot, going like, is he coming back? Is Tyler still in there?
Yeah, I was about to say Tyler's still in there.
Do you think that? Because I didn't interpret it this way. Do y'all think that all the other characters around Tyler Durden are aware that he's got the split personality? I know Marla's she's pretty privy to it, but do you think all the other?
Well, he straight up tells her.
Right.
Yeah.
But do you think all the other characters around him, Bob?
I think I think they figure it out. But I think that he trained them so well to not ask questions. Like, remember when they're in the car?
Yeah.
And you go, if you look at that scene again, you go, wow, he's just arguing out loud.
Oh, when he crashes the car?
Yeah.
He's just talking to himself.
He's just talking to himself. And those guys in the back like, what the fuck?
Yeah, our boss is fucking
nuts. At a certain point in the movie, especially after that crash scene, they understand, or they come to believe to understand that he is like a like crazy genius. Like he is, he's got the ideas that we're looking for. He has exactly
the answers,
the charisma. He will lead us into what we need, what we're all seeking, which he himself is seeking, because he's actually not himself. He's an alternate reality, playing the part that he is looking for. He's literally playing
who he wants to be,
who he wants to be, what he's looking for, who the person who is going to give him the answers, or the person that's going to challenge him enough to become an evil-minded person. So yeah, they're like yeah. I mean, it is like a cult. Like when they're
it is a cult.
It is a cult,
like,
and you see it. Any cult leader, is any of them even kill? Like no, but the people are so desperate for a salvation.
He knew what the thing was.
It's like that old lady in The Mist.
Yeah.
The one
she's not old. But
the Christian lady in The Mist.
Yeah. And that was like perfect for her. Everything was.
But it's just weird how this book is like hitting on something that's, it's like ubiquitous. It's like no matter what generation is, they're lonely guys feel like that. Like you almost get the feeling that like this is the way that Robert De Niro's character in Taxi Driver, like he'd be in there.
Yeah, they're just a bunch of them.
They're the same.
They're all Project.
They're the same.
Yeah.
Like
that is true. Right?
Yeah, that like lonely guy that feels like he's not worth anything. Is unsuccessful with women, should probably be in therapy. That's very real now. But
look what like he describes as like the faults in society. Like definitely the faults in New York society at that time. Like Broadway was filled with like smut films and prostitutes. At that time, at that time in the 70s,
yes,
like
but
Broadway was like filled with. So like he was
there's a very specific line that kind of contradicts that, because you're right.
Mm-hmm.
But the point of that story is De Niro chooses. Travis Bickle, that character in Taxi, chooses. He goes, "Are you willing to go in, poor neighborhoods or whatever?" And he goes, "Anytime, anywhere." He's almost looking for it.
Mm-hmm.
He's looking for the shit that makes him angry. He's looking for it.
Yeah.
Because he can. I'm not going in there. You can give me a ride anywhere else. I'll do that all night. Will you work Jewish holidays? Anytime, anywhere. Will you work Harlem? Anytime, anywhere. And so then he goes to these like shitty places. Then he sees it. He almost like wants to see it. So you're right. Yeah. But I think that you're not supposed to forget that line in that story. These guys, like, it's when you watch the news or whatever, you start getting angry at it, and you're going, fuck, man, those guys that get really deep into the QAnon shit and whatever, it's like, because they got nothing else.
That is true.
Scary, dude.
That is true.
They got nothing else.
It's just like how crazy you can manipulate somebody, like, quick.
I think
look at all those guys follow him and knowing that he's crazy.
Not everyone knows who he is. You're right, but he goes and there's people that did.
Dude, I'll fight, but I'm.
Remember when Bob? He's like, have you ever heard of Tyler Durden? And he's like, he knows him.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know that he's the guy.
He's like, exactly. I go Tuesdays, Thursdays.
Yeah, I go Tuesdays and Thursdays. I was like,
Saturday.
Yeah.
Let's start a fight club, bro.
Watching this. Watching this post September 11th. I remember when you were bringing up like, what was going on at the time. It's like, and I'm not like some softy or whatever when it comes to violence or anything crazy, but like watching that ending scene where the building falls apart, I saw on the news. I remember where I was when 9/11 happened.
Yeah.
I was at school.
Did you watch the second one hit?
No.
I watched the second one hit live on TV. And my dad still made me go to school.
I was at school.
I remember he was sitting on the couch and we were watching. I was like, "What's going on?" Because like it was on the news, and he was like,
"I saw that shit
I don't know."
live.
He was like,
I saw that shit live on television, and I remember my cousin was taking care of me and my brothers, and he was like, literally like, freaking us out. Like everybody get into like
get safe.
Get into the house. Like get down. Like
they're attacking.
Yeah, something could happen. Obviously it was small. Terrorist plot, but
it wasn't small, but
compared to like you thinking that
an invasion, compared to an invasion,
you thinking the nation is getting strike.
Yeah.
Imagine what it was like in World War II when bombs were dropping on London from or World War I from Zeppelins, bombs dropping on London, burning the city.
Just Pearl Harbor itself. You need to be in Pearl Harbor, waking up to hear.
But definitely like
so I remember the first plane hit, and then I was asking my dad what happened. He's like, I don't know. I was like, did that happen on purpose? And he was like, it could have been some kind of crazy act. We don't know. They're still trying to figure it out. And then I was like, okay. And I remember just when you see like someone who doesn't really act that crazy, like my dad getting real serious. I didn't ever really see him get like serious like that, like about something that had nothing to do with us. And then I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to go to school or whatever. And then the second plane hit. And I was like, he's like, yeah, that wasn't an accident. And then I got on the bus and went to school.
Well, you went to school?
Yeah, he made me go to school.
He just
didn't go to school that day.
You're fine.
No, and then they got the buses to take us home like immediately.
Yeah. My parents didn't know until I was already at school.
But we all got let out as soon as the second plane hit. Everybody all went home.
Yeah. But like having that and like watching the buildings go down, you're like, man, that's definitely something they wouldn't make like soon after that. It's weird to see because you can tell in like culture, like how different stuff is before 9/11 and then after it. The stuff and you I'm not really thinking about because
there's a lot.
There's a fucking lot.
Yeah, you got to be real careful.
Well, they didn't have to, but they chose to be.
Yeah.
Well, definitely you look at like how many movies in the 80s, 90s, and right before 9/11 have like first of all, Die Hard, Hans Gruber, terrorists, many movies is like we're hijacking planes for money, and then they're like 9/11. Yeah, don't do that. Don't ever put that in a movie ever again.
Well, they stop being ambiguously Russian. and they started being ambiguously Middle Eastern.
Even then, I haven't seen a movie where
That's
they're
true.
like,
Yeah.
What action movies do you see though that they're like?
I don't know. I don't think people care
hijacking
anymore.
planes. They don't do that at all anymore. They're not doing like.
Yeah, there's a couple of noteworthy changes that they've done in the
No,
movie.
they haven't. No, you're right.
If they do it, it has to be so ridiculous. Like,
There's a ship
we're
that's-
looking for a laser that will blow up the world.
Yeah, it has to be like...
It has to be so like non-realistic that people are like, okay, yeah, put it whatever culture you want.
If it hits
but they're
too
like,
close to home.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, just let Superman swoop in and grab it.
In the 80s, 90s, they loved it. They loved putting it right at home.
They never thought. Yeah, so I don't know. This movie really speaks to a lot of things. Like, I mean, I think we all agree that there's a lot of layers to it. There's a lot you can keep.
It's really easy to watch this over and over and over again, for me, at least.
Oh yeah.
I could watch this movie just like 10 times in a couple months and enjoy it almost every single time.
I definitely have seen it multiple times. I couldn't watch it over and over and over because I think I'm always trying to like look for. Looking for like the details in the background. Like I brought the Starbucks cup.
Yeah.
There's like coffees in the movie a lot. You'll see coffee in almost every scene.
Yeah, there's a lot.
There's a lot.
And he
talks about
Planet Starbucks. If Tesla was around back then.
Yeah, he talks about Microsoft, about like
a
headache or like a daze or a migraine of Microsoft. He talks about like Starbucks, talks about IKEA. IKEA is a big thing too. He's like, my whole house, like trying to feel like he's making the exact like catalog in his home in order to like feel the places. Like that's the first inkling in the movie, at least. In the book, like it plays differently, but in the movie, it's like definitely like he's definitely a guy that is trying to fill his life with things, and he doesn't know what it is. Yeah. And literally,
does this dining set
something
define me
as
as
simple
a person?
as a mailed-in like magazine will convince him to like get those things. Like that's how easily like accepting he is to like these ideas of what will make him happier, or like, because if he was so like how Tyler is rebellious in true like fashion, he would not. A fucking magazine from IKEA comes into the mail, and he just like, he's on the phone waiting, and the lady's like, oh, are you waiting? He's like, I have been waiting. Okay, wait longer.
Yeah.
And then he's like, he doesn't care, because he's like, okay,
so
and
invested
he's invested,
stuff.
In the bullshit stuff.
How much time he wasted.
And then everything when like they're showing that it's added to his house, it's like, great deal, will fit perfectly. Like the little comments
that's true.
are just like, you're like, steel will make your place tie together, and he doesn't even, he's just like,
yeah. They said that was in the special features that I watched a long time ago. I remember them talking about that one scene where he's walking through and the room is building itself to look like the catalog, and it's like pieces keep getting added, and they said that was one of the most difficult scenes to shoot because every time they added something, it would change the lighting, and they wanted the lighting to remain the same throughout the shot. So they had to keep adjusting. Yeah, they were like they were saying it was really difficult, and I was like, damn. And so every time I see that scene come on, I'm like, yeah, it's because it's a real like they were actually adding furniture in there.
That's cool.
Wow.
Yeah, and you watch that scene, it's like, damn, that's actually like visually, that's really a really cool scene.
This is probably the coolest edit.
This is the best. This is like Scorsese. Scorsese and him are like the best with the edits.
Like, dude, I can't think of any other movie that has really badass edits like this.
No. And he doesn't. And David Fincher, the director of this, his other movies don't have that same like snappy like edits where it's like cohesive, but it still kind of moves around, and the music and stuff will kind of hit at the right time. You know, that scene where he gets Marla out of there and he's dancing.
I don't know if you like anime at all, but Hayao Miyazaki, he's a guy who does like Spirited Away. He's like the big like Studio Ghibli dude. He's like renowned for like his directing, but he says like the most important part of filmmaking is editing. He's like, that's where everything is done. He's like you could film whatever, you could direct people. He's like, but the editing is basically what ties everything together and what could like make or break an entire film.
Yeah, I feel like if I was Chuck Palahniuk and I wrote this book, I would be super thrilled about the movie. Like the way they made it, I'd be like, dude, you guys.
How did you feel about the movie? Did you ever hear about it?
I think he was kind of okay with it, but
I'm sure he was.
I don't remember him really like saying he didn't like it or that it was like the best shit. I think, again, like I said, I think this was just a project he did. I don't think he acted like it was anything more. Because part of like what the point of this is anti-consumerism. So he was kind of like, I don't think he necessarily liked that it became this movie that
it's so popular.
Well, it didn't do well in the theaters, but it became a cult classic.
Yeah, now it is.
Yeah, it's honestly like at top like 20 films for me, I'd say.
Yeah.
Well, didn't American Psycho not do originally well?
Yeah, I don't think that one did well either.
Yeah.
And that one was also written by a gay guy. Weird.
God, you love
that
gay
one's
fucking.
Well, what's funny about that? We've only talked about one gay book so far.
We're gonna get to more.
The guy that wrote
Brokeback Mountain next to what?
The guy that wrote Lonesome Dove wrote Brokeback Mountain.
We have to read it then. We have to read
No, but what's funny?
Shit, dude.
Yeah. What's funny is what's funny is
yeah.
You don't want
Gus and Call were more than best friends. It gets lonely out here.
Lonesome Dove.
He wanted to introduce that story at the time of Lonesome Dove. He was like, they won't accept it. He just scratched that up. He's like, I'm doing it in my latest book.
He's like, no wonder he made Lorena not talk. No, but one of the interesting things about that concept is, like, okay, most people don't know that Fight Club was written by a gay guy. Most people don't know that. Fine, whatever. But then you find that out and you go, wait a minute, this masculine icon, like, people are missing the point. And that's the same thing that happens with American Psycho. It's like, if you've ever read the book, it's extraordinarily violent. It's all these things, but like he also like talks a lot about brands and washing your face with cream and like doing all this stuff. Yeah. And you go, okay, and then you find out that he's gay, and you go, man, that's crazy because Patrick Bateman, the character in American Psycho, he's like a meme at this point where it's like this hyper masculine ideal, and it's again, are you paying attention? Are you getting that this is? I'm making fun of that. Mm-hmm. Tyler Durden and Patrick Bateman are the same in terms culturally. They're supposed to mean the same thing.
Right. Yeah.
You're supposed to not like it. You're supposed to think he's making fun of that hyper masculine idea. They both are, and people don't get it.
Well, I don't know how people don't get because they're literally fantasy characters that are so exaggerated that they're literally fantasy.
Yeah, but that just means someone watched it and didn't try to examine it.
Like, but also, I want to be Tyler. Like,
you could argue that Marla is the antagonist of the story.
Yeah, I can see that. But sometimes, like, I love examining movies like that. But sometimes I'm like, I just want to be entertained and like just kick it back and not think so hard. So like, yes, I totally get what you're saying, but I could. That's why I could watch Fight Club so many different ways because of how I'm feeling. If I really want to be hypercritical, this is the movie where you can do that. Mm-hmm. If you just want to also just kick back and just be enjoyed
watch
by
stuff blow up and
not even like thinking in a hypercritical way, like just smoking and watching or drinking this movie, like watching this movie like before with like friends. It's just, you know, it's a good classic movie to just like fall back on with some really cool themes to it, and you can just dive deeper and deeper to it. Or you could be completely zoned out, just chilling and watching it, and it's still extremely entertaining.
Oh, yeah.
Those are amazing movies that, from somebody who doesn't even want to, like, really look on the inside of the film and just, like, you know, just watch it casually, it is extremely entertaining. Okay. For somebody who wants to dive in deeper, it just gets better and better. So, it's... I understand why, like, at first it wasn't as popular. Especially because of the violent, like, explosive things that were happening in the film. But then it, like, I feel like by the time I was, like, 20, like, the movie was just, like, cult classic. Mm-hmm. I mean, at that point, like, it had been, like, 13 years or something after the movie, or more than that, and film had basically just been solidified as just like you go to like Blockbuster, I remember, and just like seeing those films are like, ooh, those are the good like dirty ones, and it's like
Yeah, I do think that Brad Pitt, this is probably one of my favorite Brad Pitt films. I'm not a huge like Brad Pitt person, but this is probably, I liked this character out of all the characters he played, probably the best. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's iconic. Tyler Durden is iconic.
Yeah. That line, first rule of Fight Club, you don't talk about Fight Club. That's just, it's like one of those, you know, run, Forrest, run.
Yeah.
One of those lines, you know, that everybody knows. So,
yeah. Yeah, it has a weird thing, and I think, the popularity kind of randomly. I think the people that didn't like it when it came out are like, when my dad watched it and was like, what the fuck did I just watch? He was just talking shit, and I was like, yeah, whatever. I thought it was kind of dumb that he thought that, but then I was like, nah, because it's selling itself like it's like Bloodsport. Mm-hmm. He just thought he was gonna watch like dudes fight. That's all the movie was gonna be. Yes. It's just like, you know,
you didn't have to think. You just, because that's what I thought when I was like, oh, Fight Club, cool, Brad Pitt's in. Oh, it's just gonna be.
And he's like, what? He's like the same guy? What? Like, it's yeah. He like went to the bathroom, came back, was like, dude, what the fuck's going on here?
It was all this queer shit.
Yeah, it was, yeah. He probably was. He probably fucking was, dude.
He's like, he comes back and
he's like, she's like seeing if his wife is still. He's like, I'm gonna fucking turn this off.
Says like, I want Tyler and Tyler wants her.
Yeah. What do you care if it's a guy or a girl?
Yeah.
And you go, you know why. You know why he's asking.
Holy shit, man.
Alright, does anybody have any other points that we want to make about this movie?
No. Nope.
Oh, man. I'm good.
No?
Go watch it if you haven't watched it.
Honestly, read it and
maybe read it first. Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. Because like you said, if I would have saw it and read the book, I already know. I was like, what?
I think people have a hard time. The average reader would have a hard time following this book if they didn't see the movie.
What kind of
maybe
ruins?
Joseph thinks he's better than you. Go read it first.
Either way, honestly, you can, because I still enjoyed the book.
I think y'all are dumb.
You didn't catch the whole like. Supposedly,
I would have been.
Why are you pointing at me when you said that?
Yeah, that's true. I would have been like, this is weird.
This supposed gayness right here. Listen,
hey,
man.
that was your whole deal with this.
Yeah, that's what
you want to bring. I was cool with not even bringing it up at all.
No, fuck that. I think that
was the whole theme of tonight.
We're gonna go. Hey, let's examine books and movies and stuff, and not bring out this glaring thing. That'd be ridiculous.
But you could also argue, like you even said it earlier, like people can argue that it's not there.
People do argue that it's not there, but
Talk
those people
about
are
Game
wrong.
of Thrones and not bring up the penises.
Yeah,
left and right.
Yeah, like Michaela will argue till her fucking face is red that this is not about gay shit, and I'm like, how many lines do you need?
Who said that?
One of my coworkers. She just will not accept that could be something going on.
Oh, I've shown her pages of the book. I was like, read this. She's like, okay, but I don't think.
Yeah, she just keeps doing that.
She's like, but I won't. But she is already like, no, I'm not going to give up because Joseph.
She didn't want me to be right.
Yes.
People do that a lot to you.
I know.
Yeah, they do.
I've learned. I'm like, I'm not going to try to prove Joseph wrong. Hey, let him.
Well, it isn't that. I can be proven wrong, and I oftentimes am. But I'm a. You know how you go, oh, someone's a sore loser? I'm a sore winner. If I win, I'm going to be a dick about it.
Yes, you are.
Yeah. So, that's why they don't want me to have it. No one wants me to have it. They go, Brady Snell is the guy that wrote American Psycho is not gay. Are you sure?
Are you sure? He's pretty gay.
Are you sure? Do you want me to fucking do that one for you too? How many people...
That sucking scene where he's plowing those hookers and
he's looking in the mirror. Yeah. Oh, and he's looking at the mirror going like this.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
That's fucking weird.
Yeah. He's psycho, bro. Anyway, yeah, it doesn't matter if that comes up or not. There's enough here You can just go anti-consumer. I'm gonna get rid of all the shit I don't need, and then all of a sudden you're looking for a jacket that you threw away because you thought you were being cool, and you wish you had it. Oh, I didn't mention the tallow here. In the book, we'll get out of here soon, but in the book, they don't go to a liposuction clinic to get fat to make soap.
This is fucking crazy.
So what they do is they Marla's mom is overweight, and so Tyler has been writing to Marla's mom to send her the fat so that she can get injections, and she doesn't know that he's doing that. So she's getting they're getting packages of Marla's mom's fat and keeping it in the freezer and making soap out of it.
That's crazy.
And then whenever she sends them fat, they go, "Well, should we send her some pastries, or should we send her some chocolates?" Remember? So every time they send her fat, they send her cookies and shit to get her fat again.
Oh my gosh.
So I thought we got Marla Singer's.
Wait, is that butter? What is that?
It's Marla Singer's liposuction fat.
Justin
in
was
here.
busy.
He was busy.
Look.
So to running for tallow.
No, it's just hot in here.
It's just.
It's beef tallow.
Is it really?
Don't
good?
smell it, please.
Yeah, it's got to go back in the fridge. But yeah, that's there's a lot of weird details like that are in the book that are different. But anyway, yeah, we're gonna get out of here, you guys. Thanks for joining us. We're not gonna do another gay book for a while. So those of you that got turned off of the talking about that,
Or turned on.
or if you're turned on,
yeah,
hey,
right.
subscribe.
They're
We'll-
watching four
Subscribe,
fucking
baby.
dudes in a room.
Highest viewership. You're like,
this is gonna be the most popular
Right.
one.
I guess we
Yeah.
gotta do another game.
Four dudes.
Yeah, I guess we gotta do Brokeback Mountain.
Four dudes that are talking about some Robert Paulson.
Yeah, his name is Robert.
We're all just
Paulson.
obsessive about it.
Smells like
All right,
Marla
whatever.
Singer. All right, we're gonna get out of here, guys.
Bye,
Thank you so
guys.
much.
Like and subscribe.